Hello everyone, David Button here from aBlogtoWatch.com with a review of the brand new tech Heuer Carrera Heuer 01. Now, we went hands-on with this watch at Baselworld 2015, and that's when this piece debuted. And the name comes as a tribute to Eduard Heuer, the founder of the company. And 01 means that this is obviously the first piece in the collection, and the Heuer 02 is going to be tourbillon chronograph later on. But this is what we have now, and this is really an early review because this watch has not really made it to the stores just yet. So we feel really lucky that we can take a look and we can have it as a hands-on review, because at Baselworld it's always a bit of a rush. We did cover the watch at the time with hands-on pictures and all the rest, and we provided an analysis on why this is new and why this is important. But having an info review gives us considerably more time to try and appreciate its finer details and find out how it actually wears and you know what's really positive and perhaps a little bit negative about it. So let's begin with what makes this watch new. So Tech communicates that the Heuer 01 has a new case, a new construction, a new design, and a new caliber. And we will see not all of those 4 points are entirely true, because not everything is brand new to this watch. But let's start with something that is indeed new, and that is the case construction and the case design. So with the Heuer 01, Tech does away with the previous construction of Carrera models of late and debuts a 12-piece construction. So what you see here is a case that's composed of 12 different pieces for the lugs, for the case band, for the bezel, case back, and the rest of it all. And that allows Tech to really mix and match the components and the colors and the surface treatments. And for the 01, what they've done is they went with a steel and titanium construction, and with this raw steel and black coated a look with some red elements here and there, like that subtle little ring there, or the gaskets around these little screws, which do line up actually, for those who have this pet peeve of lining up screws. So that's pretty cool. And this really is a new design. It's 45 millimeters wide, and I will just put it on the wrist really quick so that you can see just how large it wears. It's not a small watch by any means, but it's not terribly large or overly large either. You can see there the perforated rubber strap, which is really comfortable and has a doubling clasp, and you can set this strap infinitely. So you can really find the best match or the best size for you by opening the little clasp and just sliding the rest of the strap there, and that means that you will always have a perfect fit. So the lugs are rather long and straight, and that means that the watch is going to wear a little bit larger than what you'd expect for a 45 millimeter wide watch. But still, I think it's reasonably sized. It's not too big, and on my small wrist is still really comfortable, and the fit is really snug thanks to the how finely you can tune the length of the rubber strap. So the case and the design and the construction is for sure new, and so is the dial. If you look at it, it has this skeletonized dial, and it's really difficult to get skeletonized dials right, because reading the time and finding the hands, and especially the subdials, are always a little bit of a struggle. And I will have to say that Tag did a really good job here by making this skeletonized dial look sporty, which is what you want for a skeletonized dial, but not horribly legible. So what you have here is actually the Tag logo is printed on the sapphire there, if you can see that. I think that's a really cool little detail, and that just adds that extra bit of depth to the watch, and it's really a playful little design element that I can really appreciate. The hands stand out enough for you to be able to read the time, and well, they're a little bit shiny, but they stand out from the background, so I think that's okay. And the indices are rather large, so reading the time is not that difficult, if I'm honest. The subdials do blend in a little bit, but they don't really, you don't have to be able to read those at a glance as much as you do the hour and minute hands. So that's not that big of a deal. But the primary problem that I do have is with the date disc. So if you look at it there, well, the minute hand obviously is over it now, but the date disc really blends into the background, and there's no white backdrop for the date, so it's really difficult to tell what date it is. It looks cool and all, and that's, I think, a very modern design element, this skeletonized date disc that's revealed all around the dial. We've seen that before, and it looks cool, and it looks cool here as well, but reading it is really difficult, especially if your eyes are not that good when you're trying to read something so tiny up close. So that is the only issue that I really have with the legibility of the watch, and that concerns the date, but that's not the end of the world. So the movement inside tag also says that it's new, but it's actually based on the 1887. I will put some close-ups in here so that you can see what makes it so special. It's a good-looking movement for sure, especially considering the price point, which I will address really soon. So you see there, it's a column wheel chronograph there. You can see the red column wheel, so that it's not a cam-actuated chronograph like the at the 7750, but a column wheel chronograph, and that's what's considered to be a little bit more desirable and something that's a little bit more difficult to construct. The automatic rotor is actually a complete circle, as I can see there. It's really difficult to see that upper bit, but once you start looking for it, you can see it's there. It's a large black skeletonized rotor that does a good job at winding the movement, and yeah, it's just a cool looking movement, and I think Tag really did a good job at making this a visually, aesthetically pleasing movement, and that's a big deal because whenever you start cutting costs, which you have to do if you want to provide to offer your product at a lower price, sometimes what happens is that you take it a little bit too far, and then it shows in the quality and the attention to detail. But that's really not the case here. I think the rotor looks fantastic, and so does the movement. So that's really something that you don't have to be ashamed of. If you have this kind of watch, it really is right up there with the rest. And again, considering the price point, it really is considerably less than what we used to see with watches that were equipped with the caliber 1887. So that's pretty cool. Tag says it's 100% in-house made movement, and whether or not that's true entirely, because not all the manufacturers made their own springs or jewels and whatnot, it really is a proprietary movement to Tag, and I think it just looks fantastic. The functions, like I said, include the hours and the minutes, the date, and there's a 12-hour chronograph, so that's actually really useful. So the Heuer 01 is really exciting for this design, for its new case construction. The movement that's, well, more or less new. It's, like I said, it's based on the 1887, but probably the most exciting part of it all is the price, which is 4,900 Swiss francs, so it's below the 5,000 Swiss franc barrier, and I believe it's going to be somewhere right around 5,000 US dollars as well, which is super competitive, and it just shows that Tag is really trying to pull off what Jean-Claude Biver said as a new direction to the brand. Well, old new direction, meaning that it has to provide good value. And you know, a couple of years ago, I believe that this watch could have been and would have been somewhere around 7,500, 8,000 Swiss francs, and now it's 5, and you still get an in-house chronograph. You get the cool new case with the cool construction, and this really neat little rubber strap, and an overall nicely executed timepiece. So that's our review of the Tag Heuer Carrera Heuer 01, and you can see the full written review on aBlogtoWatch.com.